Hi everyone, it's me, Karib. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I drove to the gym this morning because I needed to get my heavy sets in. It's been a very crazy week and I did a lot of the workouts at home. So I'm here at the gym just to get my heavy sets in, and the rain just poured down. And of course I have Avenue with me, and I do not want to, because I parked a little bit away from the entrance, I do not want to walk in the downpour. So I'm taking a moment to talk to you about because there are very many. If you go back to my anxiety video and just kind of sharing that personal bit with you guys, I want to talk about my experience with head pressure and how I was able to alleviate dealing with head pressure as it relates to anxiety. I have the sniffles. I have the sniffles as well. Anyway, so my whole experience with anxiety manifested in January of 2018, so last year. And I remembered, so I'm not going to go back on that story, but I remembered I was in the classroom, I was teaching, and then all of a sudden I started feeling this tightness, this tight band around my head. And with that came an onset of dizziness, dizzy feeling. And, of course, instinctively I put my hand right here and I was just trying to get through my lessons. Because, guys, I teach. If you're new to my channel and you do not know this, I actually teach. So my hand was here and I was on the whiteboard just really trying to get through my lesson. And I was just having these dizzy spells. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to pass out in front of my students and this is going to be so embarrassing. But I try to keep calm. I hope I didn't project anything like, that something was wrong with me. But this is how I made it through the rest of the period. So when I got on my conference period, like half an hour later, I called some place I looked up on Google and just, made an appointment to see a doctor, the closest doctor nearby. I got permission to leave and I did that. And so that is where the whole thing about having like my blood pressure was high and everything, and that was what was causing that. So anyway, I didn't take medication or anything like that. I just, I had to get back to work, so I got back to work, and for the most part, for the rest of the day, this is how I made it. I literally was walking through the hallways like this with my hand around my neck, because I noticed when I apply pressure, I couldn't keep my head stable. That's why my hand was here. There was this tight band. I felt like I was passing out, and the only relief I got was just putting pressure behind my neck, okay? So there's a reason why that makes sense much later on. But anyway, so time went on. I saw my actual doctor, because remember that experience just took me to a random doctor that I needed to see that day because I felt like something was just totally off. So I made an appointment with my doctor and everything like that, and the doctor told me, there seems to be other things going on. So I did a lot of blood work and everything, and everything came back fine. Okay, everything came back fine. And so that started a whole kind of like issue with me, because I felt like I wasn't communicating what I was feeling very well, so nobody was ever really able to help me. But needless to say, progressively it got worse. The more I worried about what was going on with me, the worse it became. And the only relief I got, guys, was just putting my hand right here, like right behind my neck, behind my skull. And there were times I literally just felt like my head was doing this, and I was just getting dizzy, like in and out, and my blood sugar was fine. I mean, everything checked out just fine at the time. Anyway, later on in that week, because I remember that happened probably around a Tuesday, so I think around Friday night, I went to the bathroom, and I was looking for something in the little cabinet under the sink. And as I bent over, the weirdest thing happened. It felt like everything just kind of spasmed forward on my head, and this tight band. It was an immensely tight, like, pressure on my head. And y'all, I just sat down because I freaked out. I sat down and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with me? I'm here alone with Ebony. What is wrong with me? I called my friend. She told me don't panic. You're right. That didn't work. And it was just really a horrible experience. Within the first 10 minutes, a lot of things unfolded, you know, like my heart was palpitating, I think because I panicked. And long story short, I had to spend the night at my friend's house because I didn't feel like I would have made it. Ron works nights, you know, Ron is an engineer, he works nights, and I was home alone with Ebony, and my goodness, I just didn't want to be in the house. I called my friend, I said to her, hey, can you take Ebony? I'm going to the ER, something is wrong with me. She was like, no, just come to me and let me see if you're okay. She is a doctor of physical therapy, and she knows a lot of holistic stuff. And she was, you know, I spent the night at, you know, her house. Her husband and everybody, you know, they were fine with it. And Ebony was the same age as her son, and so everything was fine. And I was so grateful that I had that option as opposed to going to the ER, where I might have been told, oh, it was just like a panic attack or whatever. And later on, that is what I learned it was my first and only panic attack. Anyway, going back to the head pressure. So the head pressure literally feels like a band just, it's tight. It's immense tightness. I'm talking louder because the rain is really pouring now. But it's an immense tight feeling around your head, around your neck. And guys, this went on for months. I still experience this a little bit up to this day, but before I actually learned how to deal with this and how to like address the issue, I dealt with it for probably 4 or 5 months. I swear something was wrong. And of course that led me to see an ENT, and with all the, it was like pressure in my face, it was tightness in my face, by my nose, my eyes. It was so bad that my eyes would actually hurt. Every time there was this squeezing, this tension, my eyes hurt, everything hurt. And you know, it was just really uncomfortable. My neck hurt. I thought I had a cervical issue. When I went by the chiropractor, he said, no, you're fine. You know, it's just my lower back that needed adjustment. I just thought it was just a lot of things that was going on, but that is how the head pressure feels. It's not just a band here. It's here, it's around the back of your neck, it's your shoulders. You feel it right here, like by your sinuses, your eyes hurt you. I even went by the optometrist, and he said, you know, your eyes are fine. It's just, you know, you're just stressed out, you know. So with all of that said, of course, I took to the internet and I found some very helpful videos, and I learned later on that was tension. That was also the cause of my tension headaches that I was starting to have very frequently. And on top of tension headaches, I was also experiencing migraines. So I'll talk about that in another video, because that was also a symptom of my anxiety. But anyway, the tension was so bad, y'all, that I became a little bit dysfunctional. There were a couple of days I had to stay at home because I couldn't function. I felt like I couldn't balance my head because it would be so tight. It felt like I was toppling over. Not sure if you guys ever heard me say that, but I always felt like I was sinking in the floor because of that imbalance. And it was really tight spasm that was going on. But anyway, the reason why putting my hand here offered relief, I later learned that there is something called acupressure, not acupuncture. Acupuncture didn't do much for me really, but acupressure did. And I really started looking into this, and I also started looking into supplementation. And I have to make a video about how amazing magnesium is, guys. Not just as a bodybuilder or someone who put a lot of physical stress on their body, but also as a female. I think magnesium just deserves its own video, so I'll definitely do that. But the pressure, acupressure is where you apply pressure at certain points, you know, on your body, and that helps to relieve pressure elsewhere. So what I noticed whenever I put my hands right here, it just felt better. But there was a reason for that. When I scheduled a massage, the therapist told me, she said to me, oh my gosh, you have so many knots. And I'm not kidding you all. There's a reason why my back and so was like hurting me so bad. I was able to feel hard knots. Can you imagine that? Knots on my back. I was that tense. Okay, so I had a lot of muscle tension knots. You know, just applying pressure here here, just opening up my chest cavity, just relaxing, just stretching out, even applying pressure here, downward pressure helped, and stretching this way helped a lot. Using a tennis ball and putting a tennis ball behind my back and sitting and pressing on the tennis ball really helps. And that is how I sleep. I know it's really strange, but that is what helps me a lot with getting rid of those knots, because you know the knots come about because of inflammation and toxin buildup and just cross fibers, and it's a lot of biomechanics and biochemistry and a lot of stuff that's going on there with muscle knots and tension. But the way I dealt with that tension type feeling and tension headaches, one way was to get massages and even to do self massages, apply acupressure. A great tip is putting pressure right here between your thumb and your index finger. So you know, like when you close your hand, there's this little piece of muscle that pops up, okay, right here. That is where you want to squeeze, and you squeeze for like, you know, 2 to 15 seconds, and that just, you literally feel relief from doing that. So that is a great acupressure point. There are tons of videos on YouTube. I look at Dr. Mendel a lot because he has a lot of self-help videos. Just kind of stretching out, putting pressure right here, my thumb right here, and pressing this way back and downwards and stretching out that way helps a lot. Putting a tennis ball behind my back and pressing, and even rolling up and down against the wall helps with that a lot. But that is what it was. That feeling of rush or tightness when I walk, that tight feeling where my head is off and I feel like I'm going to topple over. The pain in my face and around my eyes, guys. If you're suffering with anxiety and you dealt with anxiety, that is all it is. It's just your muscles closing up and tensing up. And there is hope. You know, you just have to learn how to relax and actively do things to relax your muscle. And in addition to the acupressure, magnesium, just like a magnesium bath, like Epsom salt baths, really helped me a lot. So the rain subsided. I'm gonna go get a workout. I promise to come back with a video in the future on how helpful magnesium has been to me, and other supplements as well, but primarily magnesium in relieving my muscle tension, just tension and migraine headaches as well, and also acupressure. So I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, I'm still learning and I'm still dealing with this, but dealing with all of this, but I'm at a much better place compared to where I was last year. So thank you, and I am going to try to record my workout as well, so you guys can enjoy that for Workout Wednesday. Bye guys.